this is a really fun weaving to do as well. So this is also using a plate and turning it into a bowl. So I have a template for you to do. You don't have to follow it exactly, but what you're going to do is on the back of your plate, you're going to draw a circle in the middle, and then you're going to make an odd number of lines going down to the circle. And then you're going to cut on those lines. So I already did that. So I have 7 lines for mine. You could do 9, which is what my template is. And you're going to cut all the way down to that circle you drew in the middle. Then what you're going to do is you're going to fold it to become a bowl shape. So I'm going to fold on each of those lines. And what you're going to notice is your bowl is going to start to overlap a little bit. You don't want that to happen. So also on the template are these little triangles that you're going to cut out. So you're going to cut out these tiny little triangles on each side of your line like this, so that when you turn it to a bowl shape, they no longer overlap. And basically what it's doing is it's making each of your white pieces that remain on your plate kind of into a rectangle. So that will help it from overlapping, which you need to do for your plate anyway. So let me do that real fast. So you're going to lay your plate upside down on the template and basically just trace the rectangles and then cut out the rectangles. Make sure your plate stays as one piece in the end. Okay. Now I forgot to do this one. Let's see if I did a good job or not. All right. So now I'm going to fold up my edges on my plate. You want to use a pretty sturdy plate for this. You don't want to use one of the super thin ones. All right, if I put my bowl like this, I do still have some overlap, so I have to do a little bit more trimming on maybe this one. Any other ones overlap? This one a little bit back here. All right, maybe a tiny bit on this one. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to do this weaving just like you do any other weaving. Over, under, over, under. So I'm going to use my yarn. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of hold it in place in the middle. And I'm going to go over, under, over, under. And I'm going to keep filling it in all the way around. So over, under, over, under. Now the tricky thing is, as you do this, you want to make sure that you keep it in a bowl shape. It's going to want to kind of flatten out to become back to a plate. So you're going to keep kind of pushing down your pieces and making sure you keep it in a bowl shape. You're going to keep doing this until you run out of yarn. And then when you're ready for a new piece, you're going to do a special knot. So let me show you what that looks like in just a moment. Let me keep weaving a tiny bit more and I'll be right back. Okay, I did a little bit and now I'm going to say, hey, I'm ready for a new color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my yarn and I'm going to take my next color that I'm planning on using. So I am going to use my purple color here, and I'm going to take the two ends and I'm going to line them up together like this, side by side. I'm going to loop them around my finger. I'm going to tuck both ends through the loop and I'm going to pull it tight. This prevents it from coming undone. And then I'm just going to keep on weaving. At the end, I will show you how to make sure that knot doesn't show because nobody wants to see a knot on your bowl. Now remember, as you do this, the trick is to make sure you keep those ends pointing up so they don't flatten back out. All right, and then at the end, I will show you how to finish it off. There's a couple things we can do. So I will be back to show you more. Okay, I want to show you how to finish this off. So we're going to say I'm done, but you can certainly go higher up to the top if you want, all the way around. I'm going to take my last string, cut it, and I'm going to just kind of weave it in there and tuck it in. So I'm going to just tuck it in there. And I'm going to do the same with all of my knots. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take any knot that happens to be sticking out, and I'm just going to kind of tuck it underneath because you don't really want to see it. The knots don't look so good. So I'm tucking them in, any other knots on the outside. Just kind of tuck it on in there. Alright, and then for the inside you can do the same where you tuck any knots in it. So, in order to finish it off after you do your hiding of any loose strings, you're going to take the ends, the tops, and you're going to fold them down. That's going to help lock the strings into place so that they don't pop out. I happen to be using a plate that already has a design on it. If you don't, you are welcome to color it. You could also do it before you start weaving. Whoops, I missed a knot. And so I kind of locked in my weavings a little bit. And then to finish off the bottom, it's up to you if you want to do this. You're going to take some good old-fashioned white glue. You're going to put it in there. You can use a paintbrush, a Q-tip, or your finger to rub it around. I'm going to use my finger because I don't have the other ones on hand. Wipe off your finger before you start your next part. And then you're going to take your string and you're going to slowly start to wrap it around. So start on the outside. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay my string in here. And again, this is optional, but it is a little time consuming. I'm going to lay my string in here and I'm going to start pushing it towards the edges. I'm going to make one beautiful swirl of string. You might get a little gluey doing this. This is why it's okay if you use your fingers on the first part, because you're probably going to get gluey anyway. Alright, and you're just going to keep wrapping it around and around and around until you fill it all in. Try to make your strings touch each other a little bit better than I'm doing right now. Apparently it's not working well for me. As you go. Alright, and have fun. I will show you a finished picture at the end. Alright, I'm not going to lie, my friends. It's very tricky to put that glue in the middle and lay that string down nicely. I struggled with it. So really think about it or see if maybe there's an alternative that you want to do. Maybe you could do paper instead and glue that down. But this, my friends, is my finished weaving bowl made out of a plate. Have fun!